The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, better known as NASA, has only explored 4% of the universe. The other 96% is unknown, unobserved, unable to be comprehended. This information was found by James Bridenstine, the current Chief Administrator for NASA, in the National Aeronautics and Space Administration Journal, published on July 25th, 2019. We've all looked at the stars before and wondered what's out there and dreamed of exploring the vast expanse of space. And with technological advances, these dreams can become reality. The United States government should allocate more funds to NASA to use for space programs. First, I will talk about the issues of not allocating funds to NASA to use for space programs, and then I'll explain a solution on how to allocate more funds to NASA. First, what issues come with poor allocation of funds to NASA? The lack of funds to NASA prevents many major issues to be solved. The first major issue is that the fact that the world is being fleeced of its resources to the point of running out. According to Hannah Ritchie, a PhD holder in geosciences at the University of Edinburgh, under the Our World in Data journal, published on August 8th, 2017, we have an estimated 115 years worth of coal production and only 50 years worth of gas and oil remaining. And at the same time, while we're using these resources and reducing them, global warming is taking place at an alarming rate. According to the United Nations, an international organization committed to maintaining global peace and worldwide decisions, published on April 26th, 2016, we need to keep global temperature increase below 2 degrees Celsius. And to do so, we would need to keep the carbon budget below 275 metric tons. And if we used the current resources that we know of now and probably will use, we would emit a total of 750 billion metric tons. That means we'd have to leave 63% of our reserves untouched, and that's just to have a 50% chance of meeting our goal. To raise that, we'd have to leave even more untouched. And because of this, the world is facing growing economic losses. The untouched fossil fuels that we leave in an attempt to reach the UN Paris Agreement's goal, those would now be known as unburnable carbon. And unburnable carbon mixed with that resources becoming scarce and limitations on production are being put on them, those create global economic losses. Another major issue is that the world lacks any long-term solutions for pressing problems. According to Michael Watkins, the director of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory from the California Institute of Technology for NASA, published on July 20th, 2018, the story of the invention of the microscope demonstrates this very well. There was once a city that was suffering from a plague outbreak. The count of said city devoted money to the townsfolk to help them with the plague, but at the same time, he devoted money to a man tinkering with glass lenses. The townsfolk were upset at the count for spending money on a useless man's hobby, but he continued to do so. And in the end, the invention of the microscope was produced. An invention that would go on to be one of the single biggest, largest scientific discoveries in history. An invention that would save billions of lives later. So the long-term investment into the research of the microscope far outweighed the immediate relief that would have gone from funding the plague. So the long-term nature of space programs, which are most often long-term, they benefit much more than any immediate action that we can do. This means it would force our short-term cycles of governments to focus on the future and keep that in mind when they make decisions. And the final major issue I wanted to bring up was the fact that the United States federal budget is wrong and needs to be reformed. According to Mick Mulvaney, the Director of Office of Management and Budget under President Trump's cabinet, under the United States government fiscal year 2019, published on October 1st, 2018, many departments within NASA and other departments are being cannibalized for increased budgets. The cancellation or stall in progress has been put into effect on many important programs within NASA, such as the W1st Telescope, several Earth science missions, and the entire STEM outreach/education division. On the other hand, departments such as the Department of Defense are receiving an absurd and unnecessary amount of budget. In fiscal year 2019, the Department of Defense was enacted at $685 billion, while NASA was dedicated $21.5 billion. NASA only got 0.49% of the entire government budget. And in that same document, it proposed the 2020 fiscal year's budget, and it proposed that the Department of Defense gets $750 billion of the discretionary budget. That's 53% of the discretionary budget, and NASA was said to get $21 billion, and that's 1.4% of their only source of funding. Now that we know the underlying issues of not allocating funds to NASA, we can talk about a solution on how to allocate more funds to NASA. The United States must invest into NASA by allocating more of its federal budget into it. To do so, the budget of the Department of Defense should be lowered and redistributed to NASA and other departments. According to Alexander Manolac, who has a master's degree in political marketing and communication at the University of Bucharest in Romania, under the Peterson G. Foundation, published on May 3rd, 2019, the U.S. spent more on its Department of Defense than the next 7 countries combined. In 2018, the U.S. spent $649 billion, while the next 7 countries totaled for $609 billion. And also, investing into NASA brings many benefits in the long run. According to Pierre Bisney, a space historian and author from the Engineering and Technology Journal, published on January 1st, 2017, space programs promote economic stimulus by creating jobs and new technology. It also promotes healthy relations and cooperation between countries, companies, and engineers across the world. It also provides an alternative method to collect resources without damaging the climate as traditional methods do. And thanks to NASA, we have many products that we use in everyday life, like the Jaws of Life for car accidents, radiant barriers that we use in insulation in our school, and the solar panels that we use for renewable energy. And they also inspire newer generations to chase a outreach rate in education and career path in STEM. First, I talked about the issues of not allocating funds to NASA to use for space programs, and then I spoke about a solution on how to allocate funds to NASA. The United States government should allocate funds to NASA to use for space programs. We are in an era of technology, and with it, the unknown. Through the research and engineering done at NASA, we can explore that other 96% of the universe and uncover life's greatest mysteries while also benefiting